Hello and welcome to the Personal Economy series, Your Wealth and Beyond, brought to you by HSBC Premier in partnership with CNBC TV 18. Now on this series, we explore our personal economy, all the things that we value the most in our lives. Earlier on the series, we explored career and home, and on this episode today, we're exploring the concept of passion and the role it plays in driving our lives.
I learned to choose to put myself in an environment that I really enjoy.
I guess in some sense a bunch of small lifestyle changes that drove me to start to become fitter myself.
After working in the world of finance, Purnendu Nath's passion for health and fitness led him to transform himself into a life coach.
I started to work in finance research, technology related to finance, and increasingly I'm spending time doing things in the wellness space and using technology or applying the same methods I might in finance to be able to do things in spaces which are in some sense connected with what I'm doing now.
Rahul Malani's love affair with the sea began when he was less than a year old. He learned to swim before he could walk.
My parents have always been into the ocean and spending time in the water, so I guess it's because of them that I love the ocean so much. So when I was growing up, they always brought me to the beach. In fact, to this very beach right here, I spent my childhood learning how to swim, and then when I got older, they taught me how to sail, surf, windsurf, and then of course, continue to do all these water sports that I do now.
I was born in London, but I grew up in Mumbai. And then I spent the first 20 years of my adult life in England. And when I came back and I started work in Mumbai for the first time at the age of 40, one of the first things that struck me was that the country had grown a lot wealthier over the previous 20 years. But the citizens of the country weren't necessarily living better lives. So they could buy things out in the stores that weren't available earlier, and they had more purchasing power. But sitting in on meetings in the mornings with 20-something-year-olds and seeing that they were looking quite unfit worried me, and it got me thinking about the fact that in some sense the wealth of a nation or a society or even a family is not just about how much money is in the bank, but also about individual health, and the individuals together make society. And so I said, if I need to change this, the first thing I have to do is be an example myself.
So when I was going to university, I pretty much decided to go to the school that was closest to the ocean and had the best conditions for all the water sports that I enjoyed. I ended up going to the University of San Diego, and I pretty much spent the first 2 years surfing and kite surfing, and not a lot of time in the class, unfortunately. I studied philosophy and art. Philosophy appealed to me because it's all about understanding the meaning of life, and I thought it might be important to understand the meaning of life before I sort of move through life.
So I just started living my life in the way I always had living in London. We sort of have a relatively active life. And that's sort of how I started. So people said, oh, you've been away for so long, you live in such a big house, and how come you take the train to work? And my simple response was, actually the train is quite efficient. I know when I'll get to work and when I'll get back home. And just doing that journey itself is a lot of exercise, climbing stairs at the station or just walking to the office and things like that. And from there on started, a chain reaction. I started cycling in the city like I did as a child. I took up running at a relatively late age. I was almost 40, and more for general recreation and exercise. But through that, I began to realize that I myself was able to add more value to my life in the sense that I had more energy at the end of each day. So I could achieve a lot more and not just be constantly working and then coming home tired and going to sleep. So I started speaking to audiences, first within the company I worked at, and then a lot of other corporates at local clubs in the city, about how you can live more productive life, one with greater sense of motivation and fulfillment, and how you can actually reach a fairly high level of physical fitness and in some sense using physical fitness to live a better life.
What was hard is learning how to balance my sort of educational career along with my passions and my interest, which was surfing. Which is why in my third year I actually left college and I moved to Maui, to Hawaii, which is sort of the birthplace of surfing and kite surfing. It's the mecca of these water sports in the world. When I went there, I focused all my energy on learning to surf and teaching kite surfing, working in the industry, and just learning about the lifestyle that the Hawaiian people live, the waterman lifestyle.
When I quit my last full-time job, I spent a lot of time helping small businesses, friends, organizations, individuals in the things that they did. And somewhere along the line, I was approached by someone, she was a friend of mine, and she said, "Can you help me train for this?" And I said, "Sure, you're a friend, I'll do it." And she said, "No, I want to pay you a professional fee." And so my first thoughts were, do I really want to do this for money? Because so far I'd been doing it pro bono, just to help make society better. And then it struck me that a couple of things happened. Firstly, when you give people advice for free, they don't value it as much. And of course, there are only so many hours in the day, so it's nice to have a source of income that is linked to your hobbies. And that's kind of how I got started.
It's intrinsic, the ability to dream. And a lot of people today have that freedom, which probably we didn't see about 15, 20 years back. There are lots of opportunities to pursue that dream. Again, we didn't see that long back. So if you're an entrepreneur, when I started my career, to become an entrepreneur was practically impossible. But today there are opportunities there. Earlier we used to look at a family and work. And passion was more a hobby, and it was got taken as a hobby. Over time, people have realized that if you develop this hobby, which actually was a passion, into something much more than that, it actually provides a value to you intrinsically, and eventually you can actually make it out into a profession as well. So it's not just intangible. I'd like to say it's intangible, and you can also make it tangible.
Time for a short break. On the other side, we continue to explore how we can make our passion our work. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Personal Economy series, Your Wealth and Beyond, brought to you by HSBC Premier in partnership with CNBC TV 18. Now on the series, we're exploring the various aspects that make up our personal economy. And recognizing our passion is a stepping stone to a fulfilling and wholesome life, something that individuals are now realizing.
So what you want to do is you definitely want to go lower down and get your nose close to that smile. Lift up to this thing. Make sure our shoulders are still level. Right?
Apart from being a marathon runner himself, Purnendu Nath helps individuals achieve their personal goals, be it training for a marathon or leading a fitter life.
Then I got professional certification from the American College of Sports Medicine, and from there on led a whole bunch of other similar assignments. So I do talks at companies. Sometimes there are people who want to train for a marathon, and I kind of guide them through the company. And then there are individuals who want to get fitter. And everybody is different. Not everybody wants to run a marathon. Everybody's goals are different. And not everybody starts off from the same place. So typically what I do is take people from where they are towards the goal that they want to get to. It's more a case of empowering people, giving them the knowledge and the know-how about how to do things. Because in some sense the information is all out there today. With the World Wide Web, information or knowledge is never the problem. It's all about how do you bring it into your life and actually apply it and implement it. That will lead to success.
Rahul Malane returned to India and set up the Vayu project with his partner Jill Ferguson. Vayu includes a surfing school, accommodation facilities, a cafe and an art centre. It is also considered as India's first comprehensive water sports retail outlet.
I think the primary reason why I moved back is because what I found was that through my experience, because I spent so much time in nature, in the ocean, surfing and doing all these activities, I started to develop a very strong environmental ethic. Because I had such a close relationship with the ocean. It's really simple, actually. If you spend a lot of time in the water, you just don't want the water to be dirty. You don't want it to be polluted. It's not a very complicated situation. So I thought that by sharing this lifestyle, the waterman lifestyle, with other people in India, there was an opportunity to, I guess, spread environmental awareness in a fun and more exciting way.
A really important thing about surfing is timing and balance. So timing is about where you are in position to the wave and paddling really hard so you can catch the momentum of the wave and harness that power and stand up. And then as a beginner too, you're going to be going for the whitewash, for the already broken waves, so that you can just get comfortable with the stability and the balance and all of that. The thing about this beach is that it's a beach break, right? So the wave is formed by the shape of the floor, by the way that the sand underneath the water goes gently out. So it's actually a perfect beach for learning on.
Well, one of the projects, of course, is the Adventure Center, where we teach surfing, kite surfing, stand-up paddleboarding. Through that project, we hope to create environmental awareness. But besides that, we also have a lot of environmental projects that we do, including beach cleanups at our very own beach by sort of integrating the local community as well as the sort of foreigner community in Goa. Besides that, we also have a lot of amazing goals to create a recycling center in Goa with close to this area basically. We also have the Vision Collective, which is a sort of artistic based project. The focus of that project is to create a culture of expression and to sort of inspire artistic awareness and just to focus on creativity.
So if you ask me, what am I really passionate about? What is it that I'm really trying to do? My goal really is to improve public health. So like I said, I want our country, which is getting richer by the year, to have people whose citizens are much healthier. And that's my real goal.
When I started my career almost 25 years back, I wasn't even looking at a passion, I was just looking at a job. Today it's not like that. Today a lot of people follow their passion and say, can I make this my living? So for example, when I come to work, is my passion translating into what I'm doing, which also earns me money? I met, and this typically will come out of, let's say, artists today. Okay, it started off with artists. So whether it's an artist who's a singer, who's a painter, this is their passion and they make a job out of this. But then it's moved beyond artists and creative people to a lot of other fields as well. And that's where the passion becomes their job as well. Now, you enjoy your job if it's your passion. Otherwise, what you'll end up doing is you'll do a 9 to 5. You'll probably do a good job of it. You won't enjoy it day after day.
On that note, it's time for a short break, but when we return, lessons from the world of sport. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, in the earlier episodes, we featured the Personal Economy Summit, Your Wealth and Beyond, brought to you by HSBC Premier in partnership with CNBC TV 18. At the summit, sporting legends shared their personal experiences about following their passions and how it has made a difference in their lives.
Everybody has a passion. My topic is my passion. And my passion was just to play. Run away from the school, run away from anywhere, just to complete my passion. When I used to play cricket, I never need alarm to get up in the morning because my passion was to play. If I have to get up 6 in the morning, I never need alarm. Until today, if I have a game 6 in the morning, golf, I don't need somebody to wake me up. Is that's what you need, is enjoying your passion.
As a rugby player, I wasn't allowed to play because I had epilepsy. So was that the end of the world for me? No. And I think there's a key for me here is that the fact that I knew my limitations. Okay, I can't play rugby. I have epilepsy. I can't get my head in the bottom of a loose ball. I knew my limitations. I knew where my weaknesses lay, and I focused on my strengths. Just one thing that is often an issue is that we work hard at fixing our faults and work hard at fixing our weaknesses. A couple of days ago spoke about his passion. When you're passionate about something, you can be good at it without even trying hard. You really can. And too often in a corporate environment, these are our weaknesses. This is what we've got to fix. And we hate doing that. And we'll actually, all the work that we spend, we'll probably get it up to average. Whereas if we can focus a bit more time on doing what we love to do and what we really are not good at, but what we love to do and are passionate about, it's amazing how that growth, that incremental, that compound growth will be. Not just, okay, I'll get it up to a standard that's good enough. If you can spend more time and focus more time doing things that you are passionate about in any environment, it can be in a corporate environment too. It doesn't just have to be on the sports field. If you can spend more of your time doing that, then the growth is compounded as opposed to just incremental.
So if I mentor someone and then they can then pass that on, then that's a very good thing.
There's nothing else I'd rather be doing in my life, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be than at Vayu with my sort of community and interacting with new people all the time.
People dream, but they don't talk about it. Now, that's where I always encourage the use of advisors. Bounce it off somebody else. Don't be embarrassed to talk about it. There are professional advisors, financial advisors, there are career counselors, and there's family. When you start talking about your dreams and say, this is what I want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or even immediately, people will come up with support. People will come up with ideas. And then people will tell you how to plan for it. I'm not saying you can't do it on your own, but sometimes what happens is the emotion and the logic sort of, they clash. Because when you talk about your dreams, it's just emotion and a lot of emotion. Somebody will help you plan for it in a very logical manner. The beauty of a passion becoming a career is when both these balance out. That your emotion drives it, and there's a very logical plan that supports it together. And that logical plan involves finances, involves contingency planning, and involves your family around you.
So I hope that over time that my engagement with society through all of these different methods that I spoke about increases, and that I continue to do the things that have always interested me, problem solving in finance or technology or the combination of them, and that I hope to find or continue to find this interesting balance where I'm able to live the lifestyle that I want. So I sort of chase a lifestyle rather than money, and I feel money just comes if you're good at what you do or you're passionate about it, because there's always a need for to meet, there's always opportunities to fulfill certain needs, and there will be rewards from that.
When I was a young kid, I was quite a lazy person, and I had a really hard time sort of being very productive in school, in class, But the moment I chose to focus my energy and to focus my career on the things that I love, I found that it became very easy for me to be highly constructive, and for me to sort of leave that lazy part of my personality behind. So it's this passion and love for all these activities and for this lifestyle that really keeps me going and allows me to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go back home at 11 o'clock at night,
Be passionate about what you do, and the rest will follow. Well, that's all on this episode, but stay tuned to the series as we continue to explore all that matters to us in our personal economy. Until next time, from the entire team, many thanks for watching.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.